Donald Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, joins us now from Washington. Good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
I assume you're at the Trump Hotel there in Washington.
I am, and it's gorgeous. And as Mr. Trump tells everyone, it was finished under budget and ahead of schedule. It reminds America that he fixes things, he builds things.
Our Major Garrett said that at this stage of the campaign, time is the most important currency. Why are you there when there's so many other places that you need to be campaigning on, especially states that are still up for grabs?
Well, it's a quick pit stop. Mr. Trump has been in Florida for the last 2.5 days with 12 different stops all across that state. When we leave here today, Charlie, will be on our way to North Carolina, Ohio tomorrow, followed by New Hampshire, Maine. I won't go through the whole schedule for you, but obviously the one thing nobody can say about Donald Trump is that he hasn't been out there every single day talking to the voters directly. It's the only way for him to really disseminate his message is to take that message directly to the people in these rallies.
But you've got good news in Florida, by the way. The latest Bloomberg poll shows that you're up 2 points in Florida, but it also shows, the CBS poll shows that 56% of the early voting has been done by women, and that's a category of voters that Donald Trump needs help in. Are you concerned about that? You're up in 2 points in Florida, but most of the early voting show that it's women that are going to the polls. Is that problematic for you?
Well, we're going to, actually, the early voting returns that we get from the RNC overall in terms of the absentee ballot requests and the returns look very promising in a couple of these early states, Gail. But we always want to take our message to women. You know, women are being told one thing on the air as to what this election is about, and then they're opening up their mailboxes and they're getting whacked with these Obamacare premiums increasing. We've heard from people all over this country just this morning looking at my phone, 14% increases in New Hampshire, some folks getting doubled in Virginia. And this is really one of the major issues of this campaign. In 2010 and 2014, Republicans won big majorities in the House, the Senate, the governorships, mainly based on Obamacare. And now they're being reminded again, as they get these premium increase notices, that it's issues like that, issues like creating jobs, growing the economy, improving education and health care, of course, for many Americans. These are the things that people are taking to the polls with them in Florida, in North Carolina, and other states.
Kellyanne, do you acknowledge Mr. Trump cannot win without Florida?
The path would be much harder without Florida, and that's why you're going to see him. But we're going to win Florida, so it's not even part of the calculation. He's been up there as a state that President Obama carried twice.
Yeah, yes. You're a pollster by trade, so I know you know the numbers better than anybody else. When you look at those early voting numbers, as Gail just cited, 56% of advance ballots in Florida submitted by women. Yesterday, 300,000 people voted in the state of Florida. More of them were Democrats. Are you losing the early ground game?
No, not everywhere. And in fact, in Florida, what we need to do, Nora, is compare it to where we were in 2012. And the reason that's true is in Florida, we see a higher percentage of Democrats just casting their votes early. And that's fine. It's whether it's causation or coincidence. But day of voting, and North Carolina is another good example of this. In the early vote, I'm told by the RNC who tracks this, Mitt Romney was way behind in the early vote, and he actually won North Carolina. He was a game day player in North Carolina. So we just know there's a lot of time left. There are 13 days left. Most Americans are going to cast their votes on Election Day, and we know we're going to win this election because enthusiasm, momentum, the movement in the polls. I mean, Hillary Clinton has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising, much of it against Donald Trump, and yet she's under 50% in all these swing states. She's the one with the huge advantages. We're the ones with the momentum.
And when are he and Joe Biden going behind the barn to do whatever it is they're going to do back there? It is an interesting exchange.
If I were Joe Biden, I would not. Well, I didn't think it was an interesting exchange. I thought he acted like a bully, and the vice president it was very disappointing to hear the vice president of the United States suggest violence the old-fashioned way. I think had Donald Trump said anything even remotely close to that, we would have had our hair on fire for 3 days. We'd have had high school psychologists coming in and talking on air. We would have been talking about bullying and violence. I hope that this campaign will be fought in the final 2 weeks on the issues, and it'll be fought on the issue of change. That's what this is really about. 75% of Americans want to take the country in a new and different direction. There's only one candidate who represents a big break from the past and not more of the same.
Kellyanne, thank you for joining us. Kellyanne Conway.
Thank you all.